There are 8 noteworthy storylines I want to talk about from NFL Week 2. Number one is this: the 49ers beat the Eagles 17-11. And it's pretty funny. The Eagles literally won one game last week. They beat a bad Atlanta team, and their fan base went crazy. They dialed expectations up to 11. Well, they just lost to a good 49ers team. And I actually thought Philly played well. They lost by 6 to a good football team. That's never this crazy thing you need to feel horrible about. But of course, Philly fans overreacted, and they're ready to bury Jalen Hurts and burn his jersey and say he's terrible. They're being incredibly impatient. And I love Philly fans. I think their passion is fun. Like, their hearts are in the right spot. But they're so reactionary and emotional. It's going to be really interesting to see how this year plays out, because the next Eagles games are they play at Dallas next week. Then week 4, they play against Kansas City. And so I think Philly could start the year 1-3, and I really want to know how Philly fans are going to feel in a couple weeks from now. If this Eagles are 1-3, how much are things going to shift from these arrogant, angry people after one win against Atlanta to a team that might be 1-3 in 4 weeks or a couple weeks from now? I don't know. It's fun to see the raw emotion so many Philadelphia Eagles fans have every week, and they always swing one way, then swing way the other way, and they're angry and want to burn things, and they're happy and want to kill people. It's like, geez, you guys are so insane. And it's one of the most insane fan bases in sports. Now, number 2 is Zach Wilson. The Jets lost to the Patriots 25-6, and their rookie quarterback, Zach Wilson, had not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 interceptions. And I want to just encourage Jets fans to calm down. It's okay. Zach Wilson had every disadvantage in week 2 of the NFL season. The Patriots are a playoff team. They're a way, way better football team than the Jets. It was a mismatch, in my opinion. Not to mention, Zach Wilson was playing against a Bill Belichick defense. So stop panicking, because the Patriots always embarrass young rookie quarterbacks. They beat Justin Herbert last year, who we all agree Justin Herbert is a really good quarterback. The Patriots, with Cam Newton and a bad football team last year, beat Justin Herbert 45-0. So, to me, it wasn't a surprise that Zach Wilson struggled. It was the expectation. Every year, rookie quarterbacks have a hard time against Bill Belichick. He eats them for lunch, and I just think that it wasn't a shock that Zach Wilson struggled. He's a rookie quarterback in his second ever game, playing against a great Patriots team coached by Bill Belichick. Not a surprise. Do not burn your jersey and give up after 1 week where he plays badly against the Patriots of all teams. Like, come on. If you lost to Atlanta and did horrible against Atlanta, that's one thing. But it's not like the Jets played the Lions or Atlanta. They played the Patriots, who are a good football team. So slow your roll, relax, calm down. Zach Wilson's totally fine. He's just a young rookie learning how to play quarterback in the NFL. Number 3, from the Jets to their former quarterback, Sam Darnold. The Panthers beat the New Orleans Saints 26-7 in week 2. Sam Darnold looked great. He had over 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. One of the best games that Sam Darnold's ever had in the NFL happened just yesterday in week 2. Now, the Saints quarterback, Jameis Winston, was 11 for 22 passing, 111 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Like, we kind of saw bad Jameis Winston in week 2 of the NFL season. However, I do want to say this, because I don't think it's entirely fair to just judge New Orleans on this week. Because remember, not only are they living in hotels in Dallas because of their city getting destroyed, but also the Saints did not have 8 of their coaches this week because of COVID. And in my mind, New Orleans gets a break this week, because not only, remember, their staff was obliterated this offseason by people leaving to go get promotions to be coaches or head coaches or offensive coordinators, or even people in the front office left to be the general manager of the Atlanta Falcons. So not only did their coaching staff and front office get like totally decimated in the offseason, but also trying to win a game when 6 of your offensive coaches are not available because of COVID. I just don't think you can expect the team to win in that scenario. So remember, like, all week they weren't available. So they weren't there for meetings. They weren't able to meet with players. It's hard to work and win when your coaching staff is so depleted that way. And I want to say I haven't completely given up on New Orleans. They just, in my opinion, had a crazy week with a lot to overcome. And was it a bad loss? Yeah. Did Jameis Winston play bad? Sure. But context also matters. And the context for what was going on with New Orleans last week was that they were put in a really, really tough situation, and unfortunately played very, very badly as a result, in my opinion. Number 4, the Bills beat the Dolphins 35-0. And Miami's quarterback Tua Tagovailoa left the game early with a rib injury. Now, Jacoby Brissett played most of the game at quarterback for Miami. Injury aside, though, it cannot be overstated. Like, when I watched this game, and I watched Tua play last week, and I watched Josh Allen, a bunch, and the gap between what Josh Allen brings to the Buffalo Bills and then what Tua brings to his team in Miami, like, the gap is a mile wide. Josh Allen is way, way better. I'd even go through, like, way, way, way better than Tua. And I like Tua. Like, I love him. I have his jersey. I live in Hawaii. I'm a huge fan. But the Josh Allen is one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL, if not the best young quarterback in the NFL. Him, Justin Herbert, like, Lamar is past young quarterback status in my mind, but Lamar's in there too. But the young guys in the first couple of years, Kyler Murray, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Tua has a lot to prove, especially losing to Josh Allen's team 35-0. And then leaving game early with a rib injury, like, it's not good right now. And I love Tua. I want to see him do well. But if you're a Miami Dolphins fan, you are really, really scared that your young quarterback is not going to pan out and maybe even be a bust. And you're also thinking, if you're a Dolphins fan, you already can't get over the fact that your team passed on Justin Herbert for Tua, which, again, I can't criticize because I would have too. Like, I get it. But right now, if you're a Dolphins fan, you're like, oh, no, we have the wrong quarterback. And not only do we not have the best quarterback we could have had, we also have one that may not work long-term in the NFL. So if you're a Dolphins fan, I don't blame you for panicking and being very, very worried about your young quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa. Number 5, the Cardinals beat the Vikings 34-33. Dang it, man. The Vikings kicker, Greg Joseph, missed the game-winning field goal. It was a 37-yarder at the end of the fourth quarter. And, of course, I reacted that way because I praised Greg Joseph so much the other day for hitting the game-tying 53-yard field goal at the end of regulation last week against Cincinnati. Not once, but twice because of a coach calling a field goal to ice him. I was like, hey, Greg Joseph got, balls of steel. He won't be deterred. He's not going to be made nervous by any situation. He's really, really great in any situation, clearly because he hit a 53-yard field goal twice. And I thought Minnesota had found a clutch kicker. And I guess not, because the dude made me look silly. And the Vikings kicker missed the game winner. It's just like, oh, man, that's barely longer than an extra point, and you missed it. It's like, of course. Right after I praised the guy, he does terrible. Like, I didn't curse him, none of that crap. I don't believe in that stuff. And certainly, if anyone is going to curse him, it's not me on my tiny show, but just, oh, man. Now, the Cardinals are 2-0. Good for them. The Cardinals play the Jaguars next week. That looks like a team that's going to be 3-0 after week 3. The Cardinals will. The Vikings are 0-2, though, and the Vikings play the Seahawks next and then the Cleveland Browns. So the next 2 games are really, really tough for Minnesota, and they might have a bad start to the year where it's very possible Minnesota starts 0-4. Maybe, I think at minimum, 1-3, but it's very possible that 2 weeks from now we're talking about a 0-4 Minnesota Vikings team that is in a really, really bad situation with a team that is very much underperforming. Number 6, the Bears beat the Bengals 20-17. And the Andy Dalton revenge storyline was one I was really hyping up all week. Like, it's Andy Dalton against his former football team, the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's see what happens. And, well, it was underwhelming. He left the game early with a knee injury. And rookie quarterback Justin Fields played the entire second half for the Bears at quarterback. He did enough to win. He had a nice throw to Darnell Mooney, one that set up a field goal. He also had an interception. He got fooled by a linebacker dropping. Logan Wilson dropped underneath, and he tried to throw an under route. It got picked off by Logan Wilson. He's a rookie, no worry. I thought Justin Fields, all things considered, with not knowing he was going to play and, in a tight game, doing enough to win, like, that's a win. If you're a Bears fan, you're like, okay, hey, had a pick, but whatever. Like, we won the football game, and Justin Fields played good enough for that to happen, so you got to be happy if you're a Bears fan. Now, Joe Burrow threw 3 straight passes that were picked off. Like, it was awful. One of them was a pick 6. Really rough day for him. They still almost won, by the way, too. So I think Cincinnati, if Joe Burrow doesn't do that, throw a pick 6 minimum, he could have 2 interceptions. If one of them isn't picked off, that's fine. Or if one of them isn't picked off and one of them doesn't go for a pick 6, 2 interceptions probably would have still been a victory for Cincinnati. So I just think, I wonder what could have been if Joe Burrow didn't have that weird moment in the fourth. 3 fourth-quarter interceptions on 3 straight passes is just really brutal and very crazy. Now, Jamar Chase had a 42-yard touchdown catch. Very good for him. But, again, the Andy Dalton storyline didn't work. The Bengals lost, and Justin Fields played, which was the only kind of redeeming, interesting quality of this football game. Number 7, the Cowboys beat the Chargers 20-17. Dak was outstanding. Literally, he had only one bad play the entire game. He threw an interception into no man's land where you had one guy going vertical, one guy crossing the field, and he kind of threw the ball between the two of them. It was a weird throw. I didn't really understand what he was doing there. Otherwise, though, Dak Prescott was 23 for 27 passing, had a really good performance. It's a great win for Dallas, and especially when you realize that Dallas beat a good LA Chargers team, missing their tackle Lyle Collins, wide receiver Michael Gallup, their safety Donovan Wilson, and both of their starting defensive ends, DeMarcus Lawrence and Randy Gregory. I think this Dallas team is better than I realized. I mean, I think they're playing very, very well. And next week they play the Eagles on Monday Night Football at Dallas. So I can't wait to watch Dak. It's going to be a very fun game. Credit to Dallas. They're playing very, very good football early on this year. And I thought, they barely lost to Tampa Bay, but this is a team that's only a couple plays from being 2-0 right now. So Dallas is playing very, very good to start the year. Number 8, the Rams beat the Colts 27-24. And it sucked, man. This game was so fun for so long. Matthew Stafford, Carson Wentz, 2 quarterbacks on new teams, trading blows, and then in the key moment of the game, Carson Wentz got hurt in the fourth quarter. The Colts had a chance to score late in the game, and their quarterback was unavailable with an injury. And now backup quarterback Jacob Eason came in. He threw an interception that really sealed the game in favor of the Rams. And I can only wonder here, what would have happened if Carson Wentz played at the end of this game? Like, with a real opportunity to tie the game, could the Colts have tied the game? What would have happened here? I think the Colts could have even won the game if this hadn't ended that way. So the Rams-Colts battle was really, really fun, and then got spoiled at the end with Carson Wentz getting injured. And I just hope Carson can play next week. This is a Colts team that's 0-2 now, and had 2 really tough losses. I'm like, oh man, like, what if they can't afford to start 0-3? And what if Carson is hurt? It's just, the year feels like it's already spiraling out of control for the Colts, and I'm worried about them because they're a good football team with a lot of talent that right now should be winning more games than they are. I mean, I'm really, really worried for the Colts.